many children did you have?
How many what? Children?
Yes.
I'll have to start counting them.
Well, go on, count.
Our Norman, our Alice, our Norman, our Alice, our Frank, our Tom, our... I'll begin proper now.
Yes, proper.
Alice.
Alice.
Norman.
Norman.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Frank.
Frank.
Tom.
Tom.
And young Frankie, that wasn't mine, but I took him as a baby.
I see.
From a girl.
Yes.
And he was brought up as mine, but he was no relation of mine at all.
None whatever.
They are interested in us talking to one another.
Yes, I suppose they're listening.
And that will make a nice picture, don't you?
Yes.
Of course I get enough money. What do I get now? I get 15 shilling a week now. Oh yeah, we got half a crown your eyes, you know. Yes, we got half a crown your eyes. I get 15 shilling a week. Well, I don't drink. Not because I wouldn't have had chance.
These ladies are all widows from an old people's home, off on a day trip to Blackpool. At the same time, a few miles away, another group of ladies, also widows, are arriving at a private house to play bridge, to chat, and to take tea.
How do you do? Come in, ladies. Don't answer that.
Yes.
Not that. Oh, well.
Mrs. Goldstone is today's hostess at the bridge party.
I love entertaining. In fact, it's become quite a hobby of mine. I have very many parties here, and I have a staff that were a great help to me.
Mrs. Haig is an almost obsessive bridge player.
I play, I think, perhaps 5 days a week. All my friends are very keen on bridge. They're not gossipy people, I don't think.
Mrs. Lee remains staunchly independent.
I'm not going to say that I'm not lonely. I should be telling a lie. But I think I'm strong enough to overcome that.
No, there's no room. Well, the son that comes on a Saturday, they had the room, but the other wives were jealous, you see, me being there. So I said, if them being jealous, I'd go to this home. And I've been very comfortable while I've been there, very happy.
And I said, I've been waiting for to go in an old people's home 2 years. I said, my grandson's nearly 17 now, and he wants a bedroom of his own. I said, and I don't want them to give their own book. I said, so I'm going to go forfeit my bedroom for him to go into it.
I don't feel bad in myself. It's all my knees and my hands. This hand is worse than this one, and this is not as painful as this one is. This one's very painful. I can't use this one. I can use this a bit, but not much.
Who's the new trumpet?
Mine. Don't you dare to leave that. I haven't any of those. My typical day is too dull for words. I get up fairly late, and I do my chores, I do my shopping. I only have a woman 2 days a week. She's called Florrie. She's a real comic turn. She ought to be on the music halls, I think. She's very kind, but she's a bit simple, shall we put it that way. What happens, I don't know, when you get infirm, because my son always says, oh, you've got a home here. But it's the very last thing I'd ever do is go and live with my family, much as I love them. I'm all against it. I'd rather go to an old people's home and be miserable. I always say, oh, how lucky when I hear people have dropped down dead in the street, because I think it's wonderful. May we all do it. I've worked very hard in the past, and I think at 80, or getting near 80, I should be able to relax. But I do like taking people out for drives in the country, because I find that they appreciate it so much. And I can do that without undue exhaustion. What happens to your pension when you go into the old people's home?
Well, they ask us for our pension book. We have to give it to them.
Yes.
And then they take £3.4 out of it and give us 16 shillings back, spending money.
We were discussing death a few days ago, and I was saying that I don't fear it at all. I wonder what you two think about it.
No, I'm not frightened of death.
You're not frightened of death?
No, I'm not frightened of death.
You don't mind at all?
No, not at all.
And what about you, Mrs. Cork?
Well, I don't want to suffer.
Oh,
I'm
no.
not frightened of death, but I'm frightened of suffering.
Mm.
But I've given my body to research.
Do you enjoy being out of doors?
The lodge is beautiful and all. I like the country and I like farm life, I do.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Have you ever lived on a farm?
My mother's brought up on a farm.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
Yes,
isn't it?
it is, yeah.
Yes, I'm very fond of the country. Have you lived in the country?
No, but I love the birds
You like
singing.
the birds? Yes, they are lovely,
The
aren't
country,
they?
yes, I love the birds.
Mm-hmm. I'm very fond of it.
Nature altogether.
Yes,
really.
and
Yes.
the flowers are
Yes.
so lovely in the
Yes,
spring, aren't
yes,
they?
yes.
And,
It's been very kind of you to bring us here, too. So
well,
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Hayes, for bringing us.
well, I've enjoyed it enormously.
Yes,
I
so have I.
always enjoy taking people for
Yes,
runs,
it's beautiful.
particularly when we've been so lucky with the day.
Have you ever had your fortune told before?
No, I haven't.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I see for you. For your future, your past, and your present. Now, make a good wish on that. Tell me when you're done wishing. Finished?
Yes.
Your hand up now. Well, I'll tell you one thing. You've got a marvellous future, you know. Lots of arts turned up for you. Now, you never have been twice married, but you will do. You are going to meet one particular gentleman in life that you used to know him many years ago. But if you was meeting the right person in life, do you think you'd like to take him?
Yes.
But isn't he one gentleman that you was very, very fond of, that you've never met for a long time?
Yes.
And have you been in touch with him recently?
No.
Because he's a very big surprise for you in the month of October concerning this gentleman.
No.
What's going to make you very, very happy. You understand that now?
Yes, yes.
Matter of fact, he is your first lover. Now then, you will live until you're over 95.
Oh, my God.
So you've got a long way to go yet, haven't
I
you?
have, yes.
You have two admirers now, you know. He's one dark and he's one fair.
Yes.
So choose the man you love. But you'll marry either March or April next year.
Yes.
Now remember that, won't you?
Yes, I will.
But you'll definitely gain your old lover for your husband. Now then, I'm going to have a word with you. Can you tell me the biggest worry you have in your mind just now? Tell me the truth now.
I'd like you to tell it me.
I know you would. But you have got a worry on your mind just now.
Yes,
And your worry is over family affairs. isn't
yes,
it? I can tell you.
yes,
That's what I'm here for, to tell you
yes.
that. But don't you think you're worrying over family very unnecessary?
Sometimes I think I do.
The reason why you've had a lot of worry because you've never considered your own life. You should have considered it yourself more than what you've done other people.
I wish I could stop.
You will have to stop, love.
Yes.
When you get a bit of interest in your own life, you will stop worrying then.
I can't see that.
No, you can't. You think it's impossible, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Now, you will marry again. There is a gentleman in your life here that you're going to meet, fair-haired gentleman, with his name beginning with initial A. Well, I want you to promise me this, that you'll come back and tell me this, will you?
I will.
Within 3 months, you're going to be in company with a fair-haired man with very, very blue eyes, initial A.
I'll run back and tell you if that comes true.
You will. But remember, you've got nothing at all serious to worry over in life. You've got nothing serious to worry over.
Oh, I wouldn't remarry for anything in the world. I wouldn't put anyone in my husband's place. A minister did ask me, now, what about getting married, Mrs. Lee? And I said, well, I have 3 very good reasons why I wouldn't marry. It would have to be a man over 70. Number 1, he would either have bronchitis. Number 2, he'd either have thrombosis. And thirdly, which most men get, would be a prostate gland. And I don't want to be a nurse for any man. I'm not worried. I've had a wonderful life, really. Secure, you know, and a wonderful childhood. I often lie awake at night and think of those days, really lovely days at Rosniger on Anglesey. I often wish I was back there. I wouldn't even mind living there. I know some people think I'm crazy, but I'd like to live there. I wouldn't mind at all, because I like solitude, I like it quiet, I don't like it rowdy, I don't like a lot of people. I'm very fond of the water and the beach. Even now, when I go to sleep, and I just lay thinking of my early days, I could almost hear the waves dashing on the rocks, and I love that. And then, of course, was the time when we all went looking for queenies. Queenies. They're a very, very tiny shell, very pretty shell, which took hours to find. After school, when we had our tea, we all used to run on to the beach where there were wonderful sandhills. And, of course, you can't hear on soft sand. We used to sort of run up the sandhills, and there we'd find some lovely courting couples. And now and again I'd throw a bit of sand on them and duck away and run for miles in case they run after us. The dirty trick, you know, when I think about it now, how wrong I was. It was really lovely in my day. Well, you get a different type of person now altogether. They used to have, I should say, the very wealthy people in those days, extremely wealthy. But today it's totally different. There's any Tom, Dick and Harry, which, good luck to them. It's different altogether. I had quite a shock when I saw the place when I went there a few weeks ago. You get the tripper type now, you know. You know what I mean? Years ago, when my children were younger, my husband used to take them to Blackpool. And, of course, they used to look round and, like children would say, oh, look at those people with awful hats on. You know, sort of conversation used to talk. And my husband used to say, don't you laugh at these people. They're the salt of the earth. We need people like that. And he said, when they've had a good time, they're quite happy to come back to work.
How are you enjoying your lunch?
I've eaten it all.
Have you enjoyed it?
I haven't all.
Oh, well, that's all
I never
right.
tasted anything like that before.
No.
Are you enjoying it out here?
I am, very much. Are you?
Yes. Just see the sunshine.
Well, there's no sunshine yet, but there will be this afternoon, perhaps, later on.
When I'm going home.
Pity really that it's rained for them, though. Still, it will be a great talking point for a few days now.
All the old people that you look after, Matron, how do you feel about them? Do you get upset, you know, if they're ill or anything like that?
I suppose you can say that I feel really too deeply. I get far too involved with them, and I shouldn't. I don't spend half enough time away from them. Just that I like to be with them, and that's it.
You enjoy doing that
Yes,
kind of
I
work?
enjoy the work, and I enjoy their company. I enjoy having laughs with them and listening to their tales of woe.
How long can you stay with the welfare matron? I mean,
Up
say
to 65.
And then you have to retire,
Retire,
at the age
yes.
of 65.
Won't be long now.
Definitely not. Bring Mrs. Sugden further in, will you? No, now Mrs. Adkin and Mrs. Higginbotham and Mrs. Cork, you need to come in further. Oh, you look lovely. Oh, you're smashing. That's better. Yes, that's fine. All right. All smile and look for the dicky bird.
I just love traveling. I've just come back from a marvelous tour in the Caribbean. I went with my friend from London on the BOAC, and we played gin rummy most of the time, and we all came down eventually at Trinidad, and we had a most fabulous time with bathing and eating coconuts, and we had the Puerto Rican band there. We had bridge parties outside by the pool, met a few very charming people. The natives were very helpful, very kind, and did all they could, and they behaved very, very well. On our way back, we stopped Barbados again and Antigua, and then we arrived in London after having a very wonderful 9 weeks holiday. I returned home and had a very lovely birthday party.
Ken, hello. Oh, you are sweet. Oh, hello, Ethel. Do you recognize me? I look like one of the natives. Hello, Joe. Hi.
So lovely to see you.
Nice to see you. I got a bit of Trinidad with me.
Yes.
Anthony, what you drinking? Anthony.
On my way round.
Ant, what you drinking?
I've got a whiskey ready.
Oh, no, what you drinking? You're all right.
I have a whiskey to give me half a glass. I'm
Who?
drunk.
Where's David? David Dweck. Helen.
Sit down, won't you?
Come sit down, dear. Anywhere you like. You can sit down.
That's fine.
No, sit down then. No, dear. Come on, please sit down. Any more mayonnaise, darling? Mayonnaise. There's a casino there. I went every night, and I did very nicely.
Marvellous.
And I won 3 firsts in bridge. I got $5 a time. I've done very...
Very nice.
Leon, you're going to Cannes when? Everybody got serviettes. Take his plates away as well.
Relatives and friends, I don't think we can let this evening go by without toasting our dear mother, our dear aunt, our dear Grams, our dear friend, the Queen of Hale. I fell in love with Mother because she epitomized to me at the time a middle-aged woman who carried her age with grace, charm, beauty, sympathy, and wit. She is sweet now and as lovely now as she ever has been. I give you the toast to her 77th birthday, Min. Happy birthday.
It's
10 of them.
Tea's ready, ladies. Will you all come in? Yes, for 50 years. Not now, I don't. What a drive. I may not. I was going to say anything to you. And the only thing I drive is people mad. What do you drive? Did you see the document? When did you leave?
And before I leave you, I'd just like to repeat a little verse that I've memorized and which I think would be appropriate for all of us. Let me grow lovely, growing old. So many fine things do. Laces and ivory and gold, and silks need not be new. There is healing in the trees, old churches glamour hold. Why may not I, as well as these, grow lovely, growing old?
Good night, Mrs. Phillips. Good night. Have a nice sleep. See you in the morning. Did you ring in?
Sydney.
Sydney.
Frank.
Frank.
Tom.
Tom.
And young Frankie, that wasn't